Thank you so much for giving us a listen. This is Conversations and Connections. We're the official podcast of the Family Crisis Center of East Texas. I'm Stuart Burson, the prevention coordinator for the agency, as well as other duties as assigned, which includes producing the podcast here. Just want to give you a couple of quick announcements. Safer East Texas training will be coming up on June the 10th. And also the Blueberry Cupcake Battle, June the 13th. Two really big events on our calendar every year. That's just a few days apart. And normally I'd give you some more details, but in fact, our guest today on the podcast will talk more in depth about both of these events, the SET training and the Blueberry Cupcake Battle. Well, summer is almost here. Of course, that means things are just a little slower as far as the prevention program goes for me. Of course, I kind of like that. That kind of gives me a couple of weeks before some of the summer stuff happens. I can kind of regroup and go from there. We are getting ready for some college orientations. Both Angelina College and SFA will be hosting their student orientations, their new student orientations coming up. During the summer, we'll have tables at both of those events every time they have those. Also, the Lufkin ISD, their after-school program, of course, by the time you're hearing this, school will be out or almost out within days, and so that kind of gives us a little bit of a break from the after-school program. Of course, they will have their summer session. The after-school program has actually some summer sessions, summer school, I guess you can call it, that we'll take part in, as well as the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club will be having their summer camp coming up shortly that I will always be a part of. So the summer kind of gives me a little chance to, even if I'm doing some activities with the youth and I'm doing some presentations, it kind of gives me a chance to focus on some other things. I still want to do some stuff with the podcast, getting the new version of the podcast up and running really well. So that'll give me a chance to do that. And I'm really excited about this. You know, I talked before about the new podcast and the direction that it's going and some ideas that I have in mind for this. So I am really looking forward to doing this. My guest today is one of my coworkers I work pretty closely with on a weekly basis. That is Mallory Harris. And again, she is our marketing and communications coordinator. She's going to be here to talk about both the SET training coming up and the Blueberry Cupcake Battle, and maybe talk a little bit about herself as well. So here's my conversation with Mallory Harris. How many times have you been on the podcast?
This is my third time being on the podcast, okay. I believe.
Okay. So one of the things that I kind of want to know, when is the busiest time of the year for you?
I would say, so I tend to be pretty busy during October, of course, for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. That's when our largest event of the year is Passion for Purple, our biggest fundraiser of the year. So I'm pretty busy that month. Even April too with Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but I'd say that I'm definitely the busiest, more during the holidays, more during Christmas time with Adopt a Family.
Right.
Of course, just having those gifts and having, a lot of donors come in to want to adopt these kids that are in the safe house during Christmas time, or in outreach services. I would say definitely, and that's when I started too. That's whenever I started this job, was in November of 2024.
Well, you know, I still kind of, and we may talk about this every now and then, but I always think, you know, when you came on board, it was like drinking from a fire hydrant for you. It was right in the middle of Adopt a Family and everything, and you had to hit the ground running. And I was like, oh my God, I hope I hope she doesn't.
Yeah.
We're going to show up to work one day and Mallory's not here. She's like, I've had enough.
Yeah, but I mean, it was nice too because I got to come in and see just how generous the community can be to people that have survived abuse or just those that are in need in our community. It was just really nice to come in and see that. So I think it was good.
And this may be kind of basic, and I think we've probably may have talked about this before because I think it's been a while since you've been on the podcast. But okay, so your title is marketing and communications coordinator, and that is such a broad umbrella title. What exactly are your responsibilities? What do you do?
So I do some community outreach, like through tablings. Not so much. I mean, we have, of course, advocates that do direct client service, and I don't do any direct client service. So it kind of sometimes it's kind of better for those advocates to be the ones that are out doing those tablings, that are able to speak to those that come out, because there may be an outcry. But I do still do some tablings. I was at the Lufkin Career Fair just a couple of weeks ago. The Lufkin High School Career Fair. Of course, I have a hand in the events, just kind of coordinating like tickets and as far as just a lot of the like design, just the elements behind that go into the events. I run our social media pages and send out our newsletter, keep connected with like other local organizations that are around us that help out. I do a lot of like donor stewardship, like thank yous, and maintaining the relationships with people that donate and that want to come volunteer with us or just want to help out in any way. I also have kind of some more like outlier like job duties. I coordinate the volunteers that come to the agency. So Alpha Chi Omega, like the girls at SFA, we are their source, their philanthropy that they have chosen. And so they come to us and they do all their volunteer hours through us. So whenever they come up to the agency and they want to help, they draw posters for our Take Back the Night awareness walk at SFA, things like that. And so I kind of just work with them pretty heavily. That's pretty much it. I guess I keep track of our thrift store donations, admin, safe house, any donations that come through. I keep like a database of those amounts, those donors, just things like that. So yeah, it's kind of a mix.
I'm glad you said all that because a friend of mine, I was telling her not too long ago, of course, we have this person, that person, and Mallory. What does Mallory do again? Well, she's marketing communications. What does she do though? And I'm like, she posts, of course, my lame answer makes it sound like you do nothing, but
gets on the Facebook.
She's going to get on Facebook. She's going to post stuff on Facebook, and things like that. But I do want to tell you, and I texted you this last week. Of course, we're recording this in mid-May. I was at the TASA conference, Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, last week. And, in fact, I'm wearing that T-shirt today. One of the things you do, you kind of have a hand in design. You don't maybe make the graphics for the T-shirts, but you have a hand in doing the T-shirts. And I'm wearing my T-shirt that we had for Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And someone across this big ballroom saw my Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month T-shirt and came over and just bragged about that T-shirt and how cool it was. So I immediately had to text Mallory and Whitney, our executive director, and say, "Hey, someone noticed these T-shirts." So good job, yeah. That's it, spreading awareness. So. Have you? Is this your first time doing anything like this job? I mean, you're a young adult, of course. In my my definition, anybody under 40 is a young adult.
Oh my gosh.
But I know you didn't really come from another agency like this, but is this your first foray into marketing and things like this, or have you done something like this before?
Yes, this is my first experience doing this kind of work. Definitely my first time working at a nonprofit. My first time working with like survivors of abuse, survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence. I came from working at a plumbing and HVAC company I was doing their plumbing, like their background things with their plumbing, like pulling permits with the city, working with Texas 811 for any digging that our company did. So definitely like a very heavy shift. I did have some marketing classes when I was still in college, and that is not what I thought I was going to do. So I kind of remember those classes a little bit. Of course, my memory is absolutely horrible, but I kind of remember the classes. I would say a little bit. It's just that wasn't even where I thought I was going, but I'm glad that I had that. At least just had those classes. What is
your degree in?
In business administration. I have a general business degree, and I minored in psychology in school.
Yeah, and one of the things I always think of about your job in marketing, it just seems like to me things are constantly changing in the way, like marketing even 10 years ago probably looks a whole lot different than it does now. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I wonder if you have a marketing degree from years ago, what do you still take with that today, and to apply? I mean, I'm sure there's some things, of course, but I just always think like, back in the day, whenever I studied radio and TV, there is nothing relevant today in radio and TV like it was in the 80s as far as, because I took classes on programming and like these shows should go here and television ratings and things like, and that is just, that was nothing, now that's just
a little bit antiquated.
It's out the window completely now, but anyway, I digress. So one of the things I want to talk about, we have a couple of big events coming up here at the Family Crisis Center. One of them is our annual SET training. Of course, that's Safer East Texas training, and that's coming up. So I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about that. As far as the SET training, who benefits from this training? Kind of talk a little bit about that, and I'll ask you some more details. But who really benefits from something like this?
So, any professionals in the community who respond to violence, exploitation, or trauma. So, of course, like law enforcement, medical examiners, really any medical staff, advocates, attorneys, the judge, counselors, really just any professionals who respond to violence or abuse in the community.
Okay. So this is something that I'm assuming anyone can come and attend. I know there is a fee. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But this is really geared towards professionals who deal with things like this, like crimes, investigations, the aftermath of crimes, I guess.
Yes.
Maybe, right?
Yes, it's like anyone can attend, but it is geared towards those who do respond to violence. If you are not prepared for some of the things that you could hear, you could show up to this training and hear some things that could really, really shake you. It's very heavy. There's just a lot of very heavy elements that can be in this training. Yeah. I went to it last year, and I think I was prepared for the things I was going to hear. I felt like I was, and it's still, some of the things that you hear just
Sure.
But it's needed. It's necessary because of these people that are going out on these calls or helping these people that have been in these terrible situations. And so anyway, but you may not want to attend if this is not your line of work.
Right.
Not something that you're.
Well, and another thing that comes into mind, I don't know if I've seen this because how many years have we? Do you know offhand how many years we've been doing this now?
I think this was
our
fourth.
Okay, maybe our fourth year.
I think
I don't know. I'm not the one to ask or to give you an answer, but I don't know if I've ever seen this. But this is a training I would not recommend if you want to attend this and you don't have anybody to watch your kids and you bring your kids with you. No, this is not, because these are professionals. They're going to be talking about actual crime cases. There's going to be graphic discussions and things like that. But it is beneficial for those who are in this line of work. Who's going to be presenting? Or what are some of the topics that are going to be covered?
So it will be Jim Schmidt will be one of the presenters. He is the stepdad of Gabby Petito. We had him at our Passion for Purple last year, and I mean, it was just amazing, just really moving. We'll have also Jenna Quinn, Mark Wynn, who is retired law enforcement, and Jen Sparks, who is a retired FBI special agent and profiler. The topics that they're going to cover will be first responders, trauma-informed response, scene safety, strangulation awareness, behavioral analysis and investigative strategies in severe child abuse cases, dominant or primary aggressor determination, avoiding dual arrest through an understanding of power and control, and the dynamics of grooming behaviors from a survivor-led perspective.
And something we also want to mention, if you are a professional, I know if you're a law enforcement personnel, if you're in the nursing field, and you can tell me what else, but there will be continuing education hours available for this, right?
Yes, there's 8 TCOL hours. There are 8 continuing nursing education hours this year. I think we had 7 last year, but we are looking at having 8 this year. We will have some continuing social work education hours too. We are not sure how many at this time, but we will have those hours for those social workers. And there will be 6 continuing legal education hours for any legal professionals. Okay,
awesome. When and where? When is this taking place?
So it is on Wednesday, June the 10th. It will be pretty much an all-day training. Registration is from 7:30 to 8:15 that morning, and then the set training will last all the way until 4:30. It's at the Pitzer Garrison Civic Center in Lufkin.
Okay. And there is a fee involved. Is it like $25, I think?
Yeah, it's $25, but it does include lunch that day. Snacks and drinks are provided.
Who's doing lunch?
I think we will probably have Chick-fil-A boxes. Again, I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do.
I'm interested in the important questions here.
Yeah,
right?
It sounds like it.
Okay. So yeah, that's our Safer East Texas training. This is we've been doing this for a number of years now. This is very beneficial. Again, if you're an educator in law enforcement, if you're nursing, maybe even attorneys may even benefit from this as well. Again, so that will be on June the 10th at the Civic Center. So another big thing, and for some people probably bigger than the set training, and I can't believe, Mallory, it's already
here.
That time again is for the Blueberry Festival is upon us, or almost. As we speak, it's just 2 weeks away. When is the Blueberry Festival?
It's a little bit longer, but it's less than a month. It was a month from yesterday.
Okay,
so it'll be
a month away.
Yeah, Saturday, June 13th is the Blueberry Festival this year.
Okay. All right. And, of course, if a lot of people probably know, we are always hosting the annual Blueberry Cupcake Battle, which is a tradition at the Blueberry Festival. Now, how long do you know? And I don't mean to be throwing you curveballs if you don't know. How long have we been doing this?
So this is our 12th year
Okay.
doing this competition at the Blueberry Festival.
Okay. So tell us just a little bit about that. I mean, I know all about it, but for those who may be under a rock and not know that much about it, what does the Blueberry Cupcake Battle entail?
So, of course, it is. It's a fun little competition where anyone that chooses to signs up. Bakers just come in and bake 6 cupcakes. They have to be themed with the Blueberry Festival, just in some way, whether it's the recipe or the design. And this little competition, it supports survivors at our agency, survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault through the entry fee, which is $25. We have a lot of people that tend to return year after year, some kids that tend to return because there's different age categories. There is ages 8 to 12 and ages 13 to 17, an adult and a professional, which is all ages combined. If you consider yourself to be a professional, like if you have a bakery or, just something along those lines. But
yeah.
But anyway, it's just a great thing for awareness of the services that are available to those that are in need or have experienced abuse in our community. It's a good way. We go there, and I think there's roughly I think they said in one of our meetings that there's roughly about 20,000 people that come to the Blueberry Festival. So it's just a great way to get our name out there so that our services are known about.
Yeah, I think the Nacogdoches year revolves around the Blueberry Festival. How's registration numbers right now?
We have several that are committed. A lot of the time we don't have it tends to be a lot of people signing up
Yes.
last minute right before. But we usually have roughly about 25-ish, 30-ish contestants each year.
Well, the thing, of course, we encourage pre-registration, but it's not necessary. You can show up the morning of to register. So I think especially last year, that was a concern of yours because man, nobody's signing up for this thing. There's no registrations. And then probably a week
10
prior,
new people show up that day.
All of a sudden, we have all these registrations going in like the week before. And then, of course, that morning, people will just show up.
Yeah.
And I know just from being there that there's a lot of people. They definitely look forward to doing this. And some of the designs, some of the presentations are just amazing what people do with these cupcakes. What is the registration process? If somebody wants to register, what do they need to do?
So we do have the link on our Facebook or our Instagram. We have it set as our cover photo, and the link is on there on our Facebook. You can reach out to me if you would like to. My email is mharris@fccet.com. And I can help you get signed up, send you over that link. And we also have it on our website at familycrisiscenteroфeasttexas.com.
Okay, awesome. I'm sorry, you had me so. Yeah, I'm so enthralled. I kind of lost track of what I was doing. So this is the Blueberry Festival, a big thing, and I want to kind of go back a little bit because I forgot to ask you this for the set training. How do people register for that?
Same thing. We do have the event on our Facebook with the registration link. We have the registration link on our website. Also, it's under the Get Involved tab Or, again, you can reach out to me at my email, mharris@fccet.com, and I can help you get signed up.
Okay. Do we? I don't know if you can disclose this yet. Who are our judges going to be? Do you know who have we lined up? Because we usually try to find some prominent people in the community to be the judges.
So we have Elliott Electric Supply and Knack Space. We need 3 judges, and so I believe 2 of them are coming from Elliott Electric, and 1 from Knack Space. So it was really generous of them to donate their time to help us with this event. But yeah, they up to do so.
Oh, awesome. So as far as the judging go, I think they go by, there's different things. They go by taste. They go by the presentation, right?
Yes.
And several different things like that. Okay, well, that's the Blueberry Festival Cupcake Battle. That's coming up, and it'll be the Blueberry Festival again is going to be June the 13th. The actual Cupcake Battle isn't going to be all day though, right? It's going to be that morning. Yeah,
that morning. You come set up your display in Mast Hall in downtown Nacogdoches, like of course in the kind of the main area of the Blueberry Festival. Anywhere between 8:30 and 10. You definitely want it done by 10. The judging will happen at 10:30, and then awards would be at noon.
Okay, great. And Mast Hall, I think that is such a, we used Mast Hall last year for the Blueberry Festival. And it is such a great venue for something like this because there's so much room and people can walk around. They can look at the displays. We've been in places in the past where that really was not, it was not ideal because small space, people can't really look at some of these creations that people have done. Mallory, one thing I want to ask you, what do you like most about your job? What is it that brings you to work every day?
So I am, I think I latch on to people. I like building relationships, especially those with my coworkers, I would say. And so I work with some really good people, some caring people. I've had like a lot of really hard times since I've started working here, and the people that are around me have always leaned in, cared how I was doing, stopped by and asked, checked in, can always tell when something's wrong. I really think it's that for me, and I like my position, of course, but it's definitely a lot of times the people that are around you that really make the job great for you. And so it's definitely the people that are around me, the friends that I've made.
Well, I have some friends who work in very structured, rigid office environments. And when I talk to them about our coworkers, and they have no idea what it's like to work at a place. Of course, I'm sure being in our geographical location, we're in rural East Texas. Things are a little bit more laid back here. But, I have friends who are in office environments. They're like, we would never do some of the stuff that you guys do, not to harp on it, but, I don't think some of my friends where they work, their executive directors would have squirrels and possums in their office, But Mallory, thank you so much. I know I appreciate you doing this. If you have any questions about the upcoming set training or the Blueberry Festival, you can get a hold of Mallory. You can look at our Facebook page, our website, Instagram, and of course you can always call our office and ask for Mallory. I don't know. You didn't say that, but I'm volunteering that. Ask for Mallory.
And ask for Mallory Harris.
Ask for Mallory Harris.
Is another Mallory.
Because we do have another Mallory. So ask for Mallory Harris. Regarding the set training, and there's not a deadline for any of these, right? If anybody wants to register for set or for the I know for the Cupcake Battle, we've talked about that.
Yeah,
but
you
for
can
set,
pretty much all the way up until the Cupcake Battle. You can register. You can come in day of set. We could fill up but I think we have a larger capacity or larger room this year and more availability. So should be fine to register all up until the event.
All right. Mallory Harris, she is our marketing and communications coordinator, talking about SET and the blueberry battle, the blueberry cupcake battle. Thank you, Mallory.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. And as always, if you feel like you need the services of the Family Crisis Center, we do have our toll-free number. That's 1-800-828-7233. Be the voice, if not for you, for someone else.